In a healthy person, bleeding starts when a blood vessel is injured and blood leaks out. The blood vessel tightens up to help slow the bleeding. Blood cells called platelets make a plug to patch the hole. Next, many clotting factors, which are part of the blood, work together to form a clot over the plug. This makes the plug stronger and stops the bleeding. People with bleeding disorders have deficiency or dysfunction of clotting factor or platelets, resulting in inability to stop bleeding when injured. Consequently, the clot they form is weak, and bleeding goes on longer than normal. Bleeding stops when the deficient or dysfunctional clotting factor is replaced.
The prevalence of haemophilia is about 1 in 5,000 male births. It can be a very serious disorder in its most severe form. Hemophilia A is a deficiency in clotting factor 8, and hemophilia B is a deficiency in clotting factor 9. Hemophilia is an inherited condition. It's carried on the X chromosome, so it's traditionally passed down from a mother to her son. But in about 30% of cases there isn't a family history, and it seems to occur as a spontaneous new event. These individuals are prone to develop bleeding into their joints and muscles starting at a very early age, and if this isn't appropriately treated, it can result in long-lasting damage. At the moment there is no cure for haemophilia, but we do have very good treatment available to replace the missing clotting factor, but 75% of people with severe haemophilia don't have access to appropriate treatment.
Hemophilia has had a pretty severe effect on my body. I'm 24 years old and I need a knee replacement. I have pretty bad arthritis in certain parts of my body and target joints as well. So some days I have to deal with a lot of pain and it can be quite a struggle. To take care of hemophilia in my everyday life, I need to eat right, exercise, take my factor concentrates, know my limitation, and I need to have regular visits with the Hemophilia Treatment Center. Although hemophilia poses its challenges for me, I'm still able to lead a relatively normal life.
While hemophilia primarily affects men, women who have the hemophilia gene are called carriers, and they can pass the gene on to their children. Though most carriers will be asymptomatic in day-to-day life, some may also experience bleeding complications, including excessive bleeding during menstruation, childbirth, and surgical intervention.
I found out that I was a carrier at the same time that we had a diagnosis that my son Paul has hemophilia. Looking back, I guess I did have prolonged bleeding and probably more bleeding than other people. I wonder about some of my own symptoms as a carrier and maybe why I didn't pay a little bit more attention to them. But I think most mothers of people with a bleeding disorder concentrated so much on what was happening to their son that some of their own problems certainly seem very trivial. And I think nowadays we're beginning to talk about some of the issues that symptomatic carriers have. So it's important for people to educate themselves and stay connected with their treatment centers.